pantry. It is a little bit messy right now, but the infrastructure is really awesome. It's been set up like this for several years, and it really works for me and my family. The space as it is right now is highly functional. So I want to say that it's a really functional pantry to have all open shelving like this. That being said, I had the opportunity through my ambassadorship with the Container Store to design a pantry from scratch. Okay, so the reason I chose to take them up on this amazing offer, even though I did have a pretty functional pantry, or I do have a pretty functional pantry, is that this pantry is not photogenic at all. And Tidy Style, from its inception in 2016, we have done more pantry projects than any other space, and kind of made me sad that I didn't have this beautiful photogenic pantry. And so this is just my opportunity to build the pantry of my dreams, and I am so excited. Working with the Container Store has been an absolute dream, and I'm going to show you a little bit about what we have coming up. Okay, so the process has been working with the designer. My designer's name is Colleen, and she has been amazing. And we decided on the Preston for this pantry. They have a few different options. You can do Alpha, you can do Avera, you can do Preston. Preston really fit all of my needs and like wildest dreams for what my pantry could be. So this is what the color combination is. So we have this really beautiful light brown Sahara for the shelves, and then the backing is going to be Summit Oak. I really wanted a lighter color backing because I wanted the pantry product that we use to pop, so that I could use my pantry for creating content as well as just functioning as our family's pantry. And then the counter running throughout is going to be this Summit Oak as well. So now I want to take you through just what are some of the pain points of this pantry as it stands right now, and what we're going to do to address those with the new design. Okay, so one of the pain points that I've had with this pantry is the recycling bin. It's this kind of where it has to go, and we find this with a lot of our clients. The recycling bin is in the pantry, and I just have to pull it out and squeeze our recycling into it. So now we're going to have like a nice pull-out cabinet with a recycling bin built in. So it's going to be part of the design. I think it's gonna just give it such a streamlined look, and it will be way more functional than it is right now. Okay, so the first order of business was to really maximize the space. This is a smaller walk-in pantry. It's more of like a step-in pantry. And so because we're utilizing every inch, I really wanted to make sure that we maximize the space even more with the new infrastructure. So we're gonna take the design all the way to the ceiling. So we're gonna get rid of everything that's here. It's going to be torn out, and we're gonna do built-in wine racks at the top, which the initial design had the wine racks kind of built in here, which yeah, that would be really nice as far as access for the wine. But then it's at the expense of access of something else not being as easy. And for me, the wine being up top and having to get up on a stool to access the wine is not a problem. So that's what we're gonna do there. Okay, it's not so much a pain point, but when organizing other clients' pantries, I have really loved creating snack drawers. I just think a nice shallow drawer for single-serve snacks works so well. So that's what I wanted to do with this pantry. So we're gonna have a set of drawers. We're gonna have 2 shallows up top, followed by 2 deeper drawers below. So we'll have a total of 6 drawers. And that's gonna be really mostly for the snack zone. I think it's gonna be really handy, but we purposely designed the first set nice and shallow to hold all of our single serve snacks. And then the other sets of drawers are gonna be deeper so that we can put things like boxes of crackers and bags of chips. The last pain point that I wanna talk about is the fact that we have an outlet in here for the toaster. That's not a pain point, that's actually a good thing, but there's not really any space to like put a plate and butter the toast, so we're always walking into the kitchen with hot toast. So, you know, as much as I say a lot, having a counter in your pantry isn't necessarily a huge benefit, because a lot of times it's right in that sweet spot of storage. If you can make it happen where you have a counter, then that's great. And so we are going to have a counter put in, and we'll have like a little breakfast zone with some cereal dispensers. So super excited to show you this process. The next part of the process is going to be us clearing everything out of the pantry. Then a handyman is going to come in and he's going to rip out the existing infrastructure. Then we're going to paint the space, and then the Container Store will come in and install the pantry. And then I think the next thing is wallpaper on the off walls, and then we'll put in nice, beautiful new Container Store product, and it's going to be super beautiful. So excited to show you the end result. So it is so beautiful. I could not be happier. We got the wallpaper in, as you can see. So that is just like the finishing touch or the cherry on top of this beautiful pantry. Okay, so I'm just gonna walk you through some of the features and the functionality of this pantry. So in the old pantry, it did not go all the way to the ceiling. So it was very important to me that this new design would utilize every square inch of space that we had. And as you can see, we have a little bit of a wine collection, and I really wanted good access to that, which again is high. It was high before. The access, I guess, hasn't really been improved, but when we went over the design, we had initially done a design with the wine racks down below, and then that made some shelving up high. So when we thought through that, just like we would at Tidy Style think through any organization project, how we're going to space plan, I thought, at the end of the day, wine is probably something we access the least, although it's somewhat regular. So anyway, that at the end of the day ended up being the perfect placement for the wine, and I just think it looks really pretty up there. And then we did some adjustable shelving here. I have like our pasta collection, which I'm like, it's almost embarrassing how much pasta we have. We eat pasta almost every night in our family. And then it was a perfect opportunity with a shelf like this to showcase some decanted items. So this is where we have like our snacks, and then again, more pasta and rice. And then down below, I have a little bit of cereal station here for the kids. This was one of the things that my kids requested, and so I was happy to oblige there. We used to have in our old pantry, I think we had like 4 or 5 different containers of cereal. As the kids are getting a little bit older, they eat cereal less, so we went with these OXO dispensers, which they love, so that's been awesome. So one thing I knew from the start that I had to have in this pantry were drawers. So when we go into a pantry to organize at Tidy Style, we always get excited when we see drawers, pantries, kitchens. Drawers are just one of those things. They're really easy to organize into, and they conceal a lot of the visual noise that comes with a snack zone. The snack zone is what we opted to put in the drawers. So I'll just kind of show you what we've got. So here, it's just some single serve fruit snacks and some chumps. It just makes it really easy when packing lunches in the morning. So we did 2 kind of shallow drawers up top. And this is exactly what I had in mind for these drawers, was bars and just single serve snacks. And then down below, as we get into a little bit deeper drawers, then I have a little bit bulkier single serve snacks. And it actually worked out that we could do kind of a double decker to really maximize the space in there. On the bottom drawers, this is where I have a chip drawer for like bulk. This was like one of those, this is really what I had in mind when I was thinking drawers in the pantry, because when we're organizing a pantry without drawers, the chips are kind of, well, typically the bulkiest thing that we have to deal with. So I knew I wanted a drawer for that. And then I have a drawer for crackers and miscellaneous snacks and sweets. So this all makes up our snack zone. So I knew we were going to have a lot of corner space to deal with. Corners are, always a little tricky when you're talking about a pantry space, or really any space, because corners, if you don't have an organized pantry or a system, corners can be where a lot of things jumble up. So I knew I wanted to have some turntables in the corners. I love to utilize turntables in the corners. So what I did here was I have one for breakfast. So this is like nut butter, syrups, jams, oatmeal, anything that we would have for breakfast. On the next one up, I did sauces, and then I did condiments, and then on the very top one, I did our supplements and things that I reach down a little bit less because I actually had those decanted in my kitchen. So that's kind of what you want to think about when organizing a pantry is how often are you reaching for something? Is it really regular or is it not so much? That's something that we use regularly, the supplements, but I don't reach them down every day because I already have an easy access to them in the kitchen. So as far as the design of this whole pantry went, we had so many different color options to choose from, and my designer was so helpful in helping me choose the combination that we went with. So we did like a two-tone, which initially I was like a little bit on the fence about, but when I got the samples in the mail, because we do not have a local Container Store here, I had to kind of shop by the samples. I loved the way they looked in the space, and I was sure it was going to brighten up and add so much character to the space. So I love the two-tone. We did Summit Oak, and I think this is called Sahara, and I think it's just a really nice combination. And then yes, the shelving, I added some really cool Container Store product like the Scala, these Scala baskets. I love these. We use them in pantries a lot of time when we're organizing. A lot of times we'll stack them because they're very stackable, and it's really one of those products that help us utilize vertical space. In this pantry, I really had a lot of extra space to work with, so I didn't have to maximize every square inch, but when you do, you stack those and it works awesome. So one thing that I think is awesome to do in a pantry if you have this space, which granted, a lot of people don't have the extra space in their pantry and you have to utilize every square inch and make it super functional. That's what we're dealing with 80 to 90% of the time. On that other percentage of time where you have a pantry that's ample space and you maybe do have a little extra space, I would recommend bringing in some decor moments. So I actually brought my Le Creuset in because it's bulky and this was the perfect place to store it, and it really tied in with the coloring in the pantry and the wallpaper that I chose. But then as you can see up there, I brought in some clay bowls from Montana that I've had with me over 20 years. I'm very attached to them. I love them, and I thought this was a perfect place to highlight them. And then here I have a cake stand. Those are always bulky and hard to store in a kitchen, and this was the perfect place for me to put that. It actually has homemade muffins on it right now. Yeah, and then a little bowl for bananas. I was so excited to get those out of my kitchen. So down below, I added some Marie Kondo baskets from the Container Store. These are the Ori Rattan, and they're just a beautiful basket. I love the way that they look, but I also love the depth. It kind of helps conceal some of the visual noise that's happening with the packaged foods, but I can still see just enough. So this is what I did for some of those categories that maybe I'm not reaching for quite as often. Certainly backstock is one of those categories you shouldn't be reaching for all that often. And this has turned out to be the perfect placement for that. So when I need to restock something in the snack zone, I can just reach there and do that. Okay, so now I want to talk about these pantry trays, or pantry drawers as somebody might call them. Some might call them, I'm not exactly sure what they're called. They're called pull-outs, but you know, they worked really well for canned goods. I have a lot of canned goods down here. Something that was kind of like a design mistake, but I think turned out to be a happy accident, was initially in the design, these were supposed to start from the bottom, and I thought, yeah, I think we really need to correct that and make them start at the bottom, because otherwise this is just dead space. But it turned out to be a great place for me to store our extra paper bags. So it's actually a happy accident, and I'm loving it, and we're not changing it. So okay, this is what we're using, yeah, for the cans. And then we have a little breakfast zone up here, which if you pan up, you can kind of see this is our tea kettle and our toaster. So it's like everything kind of together for the breakfast zone. Although something I will say I didn't think about, which my husband thought about, was, hey, we actually don't want to use this in here because when it starts steaming, I don't know if it's going to damage the wood. So that was something I didn't think through. We do end up now pulling this out into the kitchen when we use it, but we still store it in here because it looks so pretty and it matches the wallpaper. Okay, so I have our tidy style mascot with me because otherwise she's just barking in the background and nobody can hear anything. So we did some adjustable shelving up here all the way, and you can see the wine again continues at the top there. And these shelves, you know, are a little hard to reach. I have a nice step stool behind, but what I think are really good categories for our family to have a little bit higher are baking, because I really bake maybe once a week. So it's easy for me to get to that when I need it. As you can see, I can really easily reach this shelf, but the next shelf up, I would need a step stool. So just placing things that make sense as far as how often you reach for them.